Hey everybody, welcome to week 3. Okay, we're really getting into the nitty gritty now. So we've done about a week and a half or so of laying foundation for this class. So we started out talking about things like hardware versus software. What are the differences? How do they work together? Things like that. Last week we talked about cloud storage and OneDrive, but also we started getting into things like operating systems, what they are, what is Windows 10, things like that that really do kind of force us to look at the most basic elements of computing, right? The things that make everything else run, right? So we've been talking about all those things and kind of laying a good foundation on which to build, and that's what we're going to do this week. We're going to start talking about Microsoft Outlook, okay? So Microsoft Office is different. That's kind of the suite of packages, if you will. It's kind of the umbrella under which all the things that we're going to cover this year, this term, are going to fall, okay? So there's Microsoft Office. And within Microsoft Office, you have things like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, OneDrive, and also Outlook, okay? So Outlook and the other programs, these other apps, do work very well together, but it's not like one owns the other ones or anything like that. They're all under that umbrella of Microsoft Office. So one of the things that I'm hoping you see pretty much right away when we're going through the lecture is how Outlook is far more than just an email platform. I think we often see email that way, right? Whether it's Yahoo or Gmail or something else, it's sending and receiving emails. But often it's called an information management platform for a reason. Information management because you're doing a lot more than just sending and receiving emails. You're storing them, you're categorizing them, you're putting them in files and folders. You are also setting up your calendar. You are coordinating and setting up online virtual meetings. There's all sorts of things you can do from Outlook. So it's a really cool program to have, and it's a great one to start with because we're going to find that once we get into Word and Excel and PowerPoint, you can very seamlessly move from something like Outlook to those other programs. It's almost like a hub, like at the middle of a wheel, and there's these different spokes that come out from it, right? It's easy to go into Word or into Excel or something else from Outlook. So it's a great program to start with. I mean, technically we started more with things like OneDrive, but you're going to find very quickly that these things work well together. Now, one of the things I want you to understand, because this is going to come up again and again and again in this class, is that when we talk about Microsoft Office, remember, Outlook is part of Office. Often we're talking about Office 365 and Office. What's the difference? Well, it's the same suite of products. Office 365 is accessible through the web. It's the web-based version. So you're going to go on a website, right, and you're going to go into the portal and you're going to type in your information and you're going to get into Outlook and the web launcher and all sorts of things like that. You can download Microsoft Office and all of its apps to your computer. So there is a desktop version or a downloadable version as well. So what does that mean? Why does that matter? It matters because the downloadable version of something like Outlook is going to be subtly different than the web-based version. The web-based version is a bit more stripped down, a bit more streamlined. The downloadable version, the version you can download on your computer, has more features. Okay, it has more options. It's a bit more robust. You're going to find the same thing applies to Word and Excel and PowerPoint as we turn to those in the coming weeks. So I just want you to be aware of that. We're going to talk about Office 365, and sometimes you'll hear me say, or you hear the lecturer talk about the downloadable version of something. I want you to be aware of that because while they're the same accounts, you can access both very easily, right? They do have these subtle differences that you want to be mindful of. So we're going to be talking about Outlook. We're going to be doing an Outlook simulation, which is kind of cool. It walks you through the process of kind of learning about Outlook and what it has to offer. There will be a quiz. A lot of the stuff is similar to what we did last week. And then there's going to be a short Outlook assignment in which you send me something, okay? And it's pretty easy to get full credit on this. There is a rubric that I follow, but it's easy because, or it's important because I just want you to show me that you have a good understanding of how to use Outlook in a professional capacity. So there's those 3 assignments. They're pretty quick, not too difficult. That's what we're going to be working on. We're also going to be doing some interesting things in discussion. So this week starts a lot of really cool things in discussion because I start giving you options as to what you want to talk about. So I'm going to give you 3 options this week. I'll have more to say on my video in the discussion board. But needless to say, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. You're going to be challenged to think very differently about things. But we'll get into some really cool conversations, and we'll see where all of this takes us this week. Thanks, folks.